Hello there. The internet is a little sus today. A couple kind of slowdowns here. Hopefully it gets clears up and isn't a big deal. Let's see here. We need to get need to get that. Get that. I was just checking my app and all that, and it just seems like it's okay, but the throughput has gone down a couple times already. There it goes again. Stop it. That's what I say. Let's launch that in case we need it. Let's do that. It's been a week, I tell you. All right, where the heck were we? We got a couple chores to do. I know that much. Could do that. That comes later. So we've got the make you big. We need to do a test to make sure we can parse wonky durations. Resetting is good. That's all working correctly. We need to move you up in here. We need to move this beforehand, kind of like we used to have it. I like that more. So we need the reset. We need the notification. We need the reset. We need the save or apply button, and then we need the delete icon. And delete should always appear, but we're going to move those up in here like we did before, I think. But let's do this test first. There we go. Let's do not the controller. It's in the model. Let's do that, and then we need to do first duration turns for correctly formatted string. We'll just do a good test to start. That's normal, and we're not going to need any of this actually. What we're going to need is a test string, and we'll say 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 second, and we do all the way down to milliseconds. So let's just do milliseconds to condense everything down. And then we need... So an hour is 60 minutes, so we got 61 minutes. Times 60 is 3,660 seconds. Plus 60. 3,720. Times 100. Should be that. Unless I've messed up the math, which is 100,000% possible. Okay, so we have messed up something here. Duration chunk. Can I string you? Oops. That will be slightly problematic. I need to be able to see this for an error message. That's kind of annoying. Okay, my chunk is a match. Oh, because... Chunk parts. That didn't... What have I done wrong here? Something, that's for sure. Chunk parts. This isn't splitting. Correctly. This is also an incorrect check, though. Because this should be 1H, well... This was written naively with the assumption that we'd only have one duration, I think. Because our test data only does have one. Okay, so it's good we did this, right? Because our test data has like 1 minute or 1 second. That's not sufficient. But we're close. We need to loop here instead of switch, but first we need to get you splitting correctly. So our regex looks like that. And our string looks like that. I need to take you out though. And am I insane? One or more of A, yes. This needs to be greedy. This is a decimal, right? No digit. Any non-digit. So why do you... This should actually be... any digit. One or more. That's what you should be. Stop that. Fix that. Rerun that. Now our chunk parts are correct. Perfect. Close that. And stop you. This check is going to go in here. What we're going to do is for match chunk. Oh, right. Because you're not a match at this point. You're a string. This becomes if the chunk... Well, no, that's not true. This would be if it's less than 2, because that's the bare minimum, right? Or... Actually, no. We're not even going to do that at all. Wait. When we get to here, hang on. Chunk parts is the list of strings. We need to split you again here. That's why we were doing this before, because it helped us to... Okay, yeah. That's why we changed... Hang on, get out of here. Or that's why we didn't have a D in here. Hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. This is split parts. Where are we at with split parts? That's not helping us. We actually need to pull this up. So this needs to be... Oh yeah, I forgot to do that too. That should have been that. I think that needs to be that instead. So this should now produce what was here, basically. So, split parts. It's not correctly doing that. Chunk split all matches. What if I messed up here? That, and we have that. Okay, so I must be using the incorrect... All matches. Can I just do this? All matches. This is lazy. We want to make this... Where's my docs? Dirt. Split method. I don't really want to split though. I do want all all matches. So then I should be able to do. Actually, could I do? Well, I can't use the group here. Why would it be a group? So these groups should be correct. Do I even need that? I shouldn't need this. So chunk split, that split parts. Because this is lazy, I think. Okay, so that gives me a bunch of lists. All matches iterable. Would I be able to? Guess I can't 4 in there. I'm pretty sure though. And then that. Go to that for a second. Comment that in a second. Actually, all of this for just a second. This I should actually be able to leave in. There. And then split parts now. It's not splitting them. Hang on a second. What am I doing? Whoop. All matches, the thing. Oh, it's not to string. It's the group of the match. Can't be null. Now split parts is correct. 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 second, 1 millisecond. Okay. Meow. Now we need to do is go through all there. And do this. Oops. I no longer need this. I need this just to be chunk, split, chunk parts. And then this loop doesn't go here anymore. We do, however, want to say here if you're less than 2, or do I want to do that after the... Let's not do that. We'll keep doing this. We'll still switch on 1, which is the dealy ho. Valid unit and duration string. That's all still good. But here, can I just do plus equals here? Oops. I don't know that there's a case where we'd be adding, but in theory, I suppose that's in the wrong place. There. What? Only valid value is 0. Oh, because I didn't update these guys when we renamed where things were. This is all just chunk. And then I don't even need that, actually. Wait. No. It is chunk parts. I'm going crazy. What's missing here? So my chunk is 1H. Perfect. Oh, no, that's not perfect. It's not perfect at all. That's why we had this in here. We need to go back to that. Because we're only trying to extract or to split on the unit there. chunk parts here. 1 and then H. Perfect. Okay. And then 1 and then M. And then 1 and then S. And then 1 and then... Ooh. Why didn't you... Why didn't you grab your buddy? It's because of that look ahead, I think. And I think this needs to be that. We got 1H, 1M, 1S, 1, still not. Positive look ahead. This whole thing needs to be, it does need that. Doing something wrong here, my regex. That's the dart string split. I don't want that. So we go back to look ahead. It's showing us that this is correctly working. It's global. Unglobal it? That's very odd though. And if we do, that just says, yeah, I find the whole pattern, which makes sense, right? It's because it's finding one or more. And it's not keeping them. Together. Guess it could do that. Except for that won't work then. None of that's gonna. And I don't think. I'm not gonna fix the 2-character one. It's annoying because I need both out of this string. That's the main problem I'm having. Can I do... I don't necessarily need that, but I could also do... do that. And then... pull matches out of there instead of doing split. I could do the same thing. Okay, yeah. Oops. That's still a list of strings. As soon as we do... but I can't do that because this is that. Wait. This isn't not this. I've done this backwards. That. This should also be a list. Instead of an iterable. Oh, but this. So that's going to return an iterable string. Okay. And then this can't be null. And I think I need both groups. How do I get both of you out? So maybe I can't do that very easily. And I should be doing this a different way. So let's chuck this map part, because we want to go here. I'm going to use their example here. All matches for the thing. And then this all then becomes element at instead. And then can I string you? Will you actually string? Oh. Bad finger. And then that as well. I'm not confident that's the correct syntax for this. Whoop. Everything's broken and it's bad and I hate it. Dirtbag X's are weird. Okay, let me take a look here. Chunk parts. My regex. And it's got a range should be less than 1. Well, it was 0. So wait, no, it's 1. Okay. What are you actually spitting out for chunk parts? So that's the, okay. That's the element at. And that's empty string. That doesn't work. Oh, you know, I'm dumb. I didn't pull this over. So it's not. Yeah, it's looking for such things. Okay, let's try that again. Now. Okay, so it's still at 0. Group 0 is 1A. Okay. Group 1 is the 1. Group 2 is that. Okay, because the first element of the match is the string. So this needs to be element at 0. Dot. Group 1. No, 2. And then these guys similarly. That. Let's do this. And then we can say match group 2. Match group 1. But that's not correct. No, it is. It is. And then this would be that again. Okay, let's debug this and make sure I've done that correctly. Okay. And this is match. Group 2 should be H. Group 1 is 1. We parse you. We run through here. Okay. Got some other issue here somewhere along the way, which is fine. Stop and rerun, please. Okay, so we didn't quite get the exact. I may have screwed up the math still. Let's re-verify that math. So we have 1 hour, which is 60 minutes, plus 1 minute. So 61 minutes times 60 is that. Plus 1, because there's 1 more second. Times 1,000 for milliseconds, and then 1. Yes, I messed up my math. Somewhere along the way. And that is what we got. Okay, good. Meow. Let's go ahead and commit that really quick. That's not the one I want. Oops. Add test for parsing duration with more than 1. Hey, Terrace, how's it going? Long time no see. More than 1 part. Fix bugs the test revealed. And then let's actually come up here. We're going to say 10 hours. I'm doing all right. Just, you know, muddling my way through learning Dart and Flutter. So 10 hours times 60 is 600 minutes times, well, actually, we don't need to do that. It's easier because we don't need to mix and match here. We just expect the parsed in hours to be 10. That's going to make our life much easier. Perfect. We're going to do the same thing. Minutes only? And I expect no issues here, but you know. Issues that you don't expect are why you write tests. I don't need to copy that. I got it still. Okay. All that should pass. And it does. Perfect. And let's do quick commit, add tests for individual duration parts. Done. Dusted. Okay. The last one we need, I'm going to say for wonky formatted string, and we're going to mix and match here, say 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 millisecond, 1 second. And this should all equal the same thing. Okay, perfect. Actually, there's 2 more tests we need here. Wonky formatted string, multiple of unit. Let's make this very easy. We're going to add 10 extra milliseconds. So that should be 11 in total. Didn't quite work. One minute, 1 hour, 1 millisecond, 1 second, 10 milliseconds. Oh. 1001. That's a test typo error. That is what it should be. My code worked. Just my fingers don't. 3661001, 3661011. Perfect. Okay. So all of that works great. So if you do something dumb, we still can make some sense of it. Which is good because I'm probably going to do something dumb at some point. It's almost inevitable. Add tests for wonky strings. Okay. So. We've got that part sorted out. Chore complete. Let's go. Do that real quick. I've set up a landing page for my project that is still in development. Excellent. What are you working on? Speaking of, I forgot to launch that. There we go. Okay, so chore done. Tests expanded. Good progress there. We need to... What else do we need to do here? I think we're done in there for now. Let's get rid of that real quick. Monorepo Hub, a tool for discovering PRs in a single or multiple repositories for single or multiple accounts. I assume that you're not using a forge in this instance. What else do we need to do here to tidy things up real quick? Anything small? I don't think so. I think we're ready to work on moving. Let's get rid of that for now. Let's review these really quick. I think we're almost ready to start moving the buttons around. Or not buttons, but yeah, the buttons at the bottom. Let's keep doing what we're doing really quick, though. In here, because it's just going to make it easier to do really quick. We have our row. We have a sized box in you. With the floating action button. We did that for that. Okay, right. I think... Can I get away with making this outer row the thing we based our size box on, and then eliminating this row? I have questions. Yes, I can. Forge, what is that? Forge, a Git forge, like GitHub or Bitbucket or something like that. A place where you have like the web UI that lays on top of the on top of Git itself on a remote. Pretty sure that's called a Git forge. Am I? Maybe I'm dumb. Oh, I see. This project started due to the limitations of GitHub's PR filtering functionality. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I guess I've never tried to really filter that aggressively. Yeah, it's a Forge is a web-based collaborative software platform for both developing and sharing computer applications. So blah 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 blah, all of this stuff. Two most widely used collaborative development platforms are not advertised as being Forge: GitHub, GitLab. Yeah, they are sometimes called Forges, I guess would be the correct answer. Possibly like a thing that has kind of evolved after the need to pluralize what a GitHub is that isn't a GitHub. Okay, so that worked. Ooh, I need to, though, chuck a line around these guys, which is fine. We can do that. Around you. And you're that. Oop. And we're going to make you center left. That's fine. Also in here, I'm going to say 20 maybe. And actually, if we do space between, that might even be easier. And then center left on you. Oh, no, that's not quite what I want. Oh, you know why? That's okay. This is going to be fine. Pretty sure. We would need on a line around you as well. I think. Oops. Like so, you live in your own row because, you know, reasons. It didn't quite fix my problem. To the inspector. Select widget mode. You are most certainly not in the size box. Oh, duh. It's because you're in an expanded. You're in the expanded because, okay. I think I'm going to leave that in there for a second. I might not need all these aligns. We're going to take them out until we know that we need them. I want to delete that. If we need them, we will add them back in. But we're going to move this up into there in a second. Do you like Flutter so far? Yes and no. It does some things that are weird. It makes it really, really, really hard to be responsive in a sane way so that my UI degrades gracefully as it gets beyond, you know, sizes that make sense for it to be. Ideally, it should be this size, but I don't want it to be completely broken if you're not on a 1920 by 1080 monitor for some reason. So it makes it really hard to do that, which I don't love. A lot of the stuff, and that could be a skill issue too. But all in all, I'm having fun with it. And I don't mind Dart, even though it is JavaScripty in a lot of ways that I don't particularly love. It's still, I'm having fun, basically. Okay, so if we do space between, that's fine. We might have to play with that a little bit, but we have options. Let's go ahead and do this. We'll monkey with our layout in a second, but first we'll do this. This is going to be, what did we call it? How did we word this before? I was really happy with it. Dart had 2 major pushes to get rid of JavaScripty stuff. Gotcha. So I would have disliked it more previously, is what you're saying. It does still have some of it, but I'll live with it. Okay, so when we did a change, unsaved changes, that's what I said. Simple. Okay, so I've done correctly there. We need to do the same we did up here. I think it's just a text style. Yes. Style is a text style which has a color theme of the error. So in here, text style, color theme of context. Color scheme error. That gives us our unsafe changes warning. This is going to be, we're probably going to have to override the double equal to make this easy. We'll do that in a minute. We'll come back to that. We need to also have, we're going to have an apply button and a delete button. We need to make sure we don't forget about that guy. And delete is always going to be present. Save button, though. We could make you just always exist. I'm okay with that. We would need... Because we're in our size box, I think we're okay. Loading action button. On pressed. We'll just move our to-do in there. But our... Did I do React or some of it before? I've done a little bit of React of like really old flavor, and I've done a little bit of more modern React, but not a ton. And we're just gonna call you apply, actually. Ew, but you're not that. That's what you need. You need to be called a child. And then we're going to also have you. Oh, we need to do both of these guys. Shape, it's shape. And then it's... I forget what it is. But we've done you. Actually, on all of these buttons. Oh, because we pulled you out. Add property button. Rounded rectangular border. That's what you are. Because we just want you to be not round. So an empty one will make you square. We're going to do the same thing for this guy. Okay, perfect. So there's my save placeholder. And then for delete, actually I have a delete button already. Ooh, but you're gonna be small. Because you're meant for forms. So we're gonna do that. And we'll do that to do, move this entry. Child, not text, icon. Const dot delete, remove delete forever outline. Sure, we'll keep using that one. What are you mad about? Oh, you're mad about that. And then shape is rounded rectangle border. But I need you also to be... I think you can query size of the widget to a different layout based on style. Kind of, yeah. You can use a layout builder, but then you end up with just like a ton of scaffolding. And then you're basing stuff on other stuff, and I ran into issues in, I think it was a text edit field, because it's like an expanded widget ultimately, and so it needs to know its size, and there was something, and it could have just been that I hadn't set it up correctly at that time, but I kept running into that issue where it was using unbounded width or height basically, and then everything freaks out. My icon is where you apply the color. Well, no, that's not true. Background color, that's what you are. Background color. Same deal. Color scheme, error container. Because I was happy with that. And then my icon. Color is... theme of context. Color scheme dot on error container. Perfect. All right, that's much better. We'll get rid of the placeholder text. Now, I'm pretty sure I want all of y'all from there to there, I think, to live outside of my table. But that means outside of my form. I'm Android native. I'm still getting used to all that fancy UI systems. What fancy UI systems? Oh, material? Let's see. You're all just inside of a container. Which is ultimately inside of a column. React Flutter. I thought that they, like, React Native and Flutter would ultimately just implement native Android things, or am I mistaken? Oops. I guess I could do a column here. And then put the scroll view in there. And then down here, a million years later, that's my column. That's the end of my columns children list. And then in here, I can put that. It's going to break right now, but that's... Actually, hang on. We're going to stop right here. We're going to go Do a commit. Make sure that's correct. Oh, you have died. Flutter renders directly on OpenGL, Vulkan, at least on Android. Oh, okay. I knew it did that on desktop. I thought it did other stuff on mobile. I don't know much about mobile stuff at all. I'm really not a phone guy. Okay, yeah, so we're happy with that layout ish, you know. So we're gonna do a commit there. Finish stubbing in or roughing in the controls, let's just call them. Okay. Now we can start breaking stuff without worrying too much about needing to work extra hard to get it back. Outside of my expanded, so like that. Okay, that still puts you overflowing right now, but that's fine for a second. Okay, that's roughly close to what I want. Oh, you need to be inside my scroll view. Crap. That's what's going on. Either that or down below, which is why I was thinking down below initially. Actually, perhaps, let's back that up real quick. Let's take that column back out. Because there's a different scroll view. Pretty sure. I think it's just scroll view instead of single child. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Let me collapse my table because that's just a big honking block of code. Scroll view, which has controller behavior. Oh, it's not. It's something else. Abstract classes cannot be instantiated. Flutter scroll view. List build? I don't want to list. List builder? Yeah, I don't want to list. Because the other guys live inside of a table so that everything is all lined up correctly and inside of a form so that we can do validation, which is another chore we need to do. I thought there was a scroll view. Row inside scroll view? Yeah. Well, I'd have to be a column. But I thought there was a... Make sure you have one child. Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, I just list view is what they call the single child or the multi-child. So you were right. I just didn't understand. Okay, now my form, please minimize again or collapse. There are also sliver scroll views for nested scrolls. Oh, interesting. And now I can put my row with all my controls in it. Down here, get rid of my expanded. And then when you get too small, you just gotta scrolly scroll. There is a way to make that scrolly scroll always visible, which is something I'll look into in a second. Let me leave myself a note. I don't think it was here. That's fine. It'll be here. Make scroll bar always visible if scrolling possible. That's one of the other things that I don't love about Flutter is that it has things like that which just don't feel like sane defaults to me. Where like so right now this is a scrollable widget, right? But unless you're moused over like there, it took forever. I'm not even clear on what I'm doing to make that appear. Like as I mouse around, then it's like, oh hey, you can scroll me. But like if it's scrollable, that should be always visible, in my opinion. And that's probably like some mobile thing or something, right? But mobile first is a thing I take issue with. Okay, what was I doing? This is lined up wonky. I need to make that big-ish so that I can see what the heck I'm doing. Does a list view have... You don't have a spacing, okay. And if we're not going to do that anymore, I might as well just get rid of that column entirely. And we can end on returning us just an expanded. Oop. But that is incorrect use of parent data widget. But I don't even need that expanded, actually. I can get away with just the container. Because I'm not going to try to grow that more. Chrome on desktop has the same behavior. I don't know. I'm not worried about building for Chrome, right, meow? You're not lined up the way I want. That's what I was doing. I need... My form has expanded again. Let's go ahead and collapse that. Cross-axis alignment start is no longer doing what I need or want. Main axis. Let's put you at the end. And then do something like that. That's good. I want... I want that to come out, I think. Because it's not doing anything for me, right? Meow. What I really want is multiple spacing options here. I want that to be bigger. I want that to be I don't think that's what I want. Oh, you know what? No, that's fine. I might have to do a column inside here. Go back to a single child scroll view because I want these guys to live at the bottom right corner. You're expanded. Which I don't necessarily want. But I'm 99% certain if I do this, that I'm going to overflow on one of those. Oh, I'd have to do that too. Yeah. Then the children have unbounded things. Okay, stop. Stop it, Dart. Stop it, Flutter. There, restart you. I would love for this to come up to here, and I'd love for these always to live in the corner and be able to just put a little space in there. The space I could do, that's easy. But I guess the answer would be that we promote you up here. And then our container wraps the form. And then we need to move all of those down in there. And then I have an extra one of those. You need to end here. Oops. That's what you need. And then kill one of those off. Oh, but that puts you outside of my border too then. Crap. Well, maybe that's not the end of the world. If we spaced you out a little bit, I might actually like that. Make a stack? I don't want to overlap children, though. Like, you still need to scroll down if you want to hit the save buttons, and I'm totally okay with that. Like, we're just trying to make it usable if things get too small. Essentially. It's not intended that you should be using this on a tiny screen. This is the editor. You should be using a real computer. And maybe I'm missing wisdom in there, and I'm misunderstanding the stack. I've also got the bottom doesn't necessarily need padding here. Could do that. And maybe give it just a tiny squishy. So it doesn't quite ride on the bar there, but it's still, yeah, I like that. That's pretty good. But the scaffold, which is based on a stack but tries not to overlap children. Yes, I could do that. I don't know that I want to, though. Yeah, scaffold is kind of like the root up here. Which, I mean, I could do that. So there's my list view as the body, right? And then come down here, close that up. And then I could do all of this. Wait, no. Yes, all of this. All of this. As doesn't a scaffold have a footer? Am I confused? I think of something else. Scaffold, app bar, body. I don't really want an app bar. Bottom navigation bar, so I think what your persistent footer buttons. Which would probably mean I would take you out, right? Oh gosh, now you're everywhere. But even if that wasn't the case, I don't think I want... Well, I mean, it wouldn't be terrible. Bottom navigation bar, that's what you are. I think I'll need a row, though, if I do that. Let me just put that back in real quick. And switch you out. Bottom navigation bar is a row here. They're kind of squunched down in there. I don't hate it completely. These are floating action buttons. Oh yeah, yeah, I did that and things got wonky. We can try it again and see what we think, but I like it. I like this better on the smaller screen almost. When you full screen, they look kind of weird down here. Um Container. I guess I could swap this back. Which might actually work better. No, because this is outside of those rules, so to speak, I think. It's fine either way. You got options, right? Yeah. That's part of the flailing about and just trying to figure out how I want it to look, you know. Let me read more about persistent footer buttons. Properta. Text button widgets, okay. Overflow bar. Rendered above the nav bar, but below the body. Eh. I kind of like this, actually. Except for... love for them to come up just a hair, which I guess I could probably do. You don't have padding. I don't think... I guess that does scooch them up a hair. I don't hate it. Maybe we'll go with that for a little while, and if I decide I hate it later, we can change it. Maybe that's a good idea. I would like for this to be in a line. Center left, probably. And then I could do that. Ooh. That broke stuff. You can set different paddings based on widget size if you would use Builder to get context. Yes. Yes, I could. But that things get wonky when you do that too, because if you're basing it on like a division, like you say, this is making this thing grow, I think. So let's not align you. Because I played with that when I was laying this out. I think it was this. Yeah. So if I make this, let's say, a quarter of the width of the parent, right? Then it ends up being, you know, over here somewhere-ish, and that's fine. But as it gets smaller, it would end up being, you know, over here, which isn't really necessarily what I want for this kind of a form. Same with, you know, like the help text. Right now it looks kind of wonky because it gets huge, you know, but I mean, it is supposed to be a longer thing, so that's fine. But if I limited it to, you know, like here or so, then it would start to get way, way, way short. And I'm not sure I love that either. I think I need to wrap you in a row if I want you to center without breaking the widget. No, it's cross axis. Oh, but then you don't. I need that. Oh, it's because y'all... Okay, ooh. That's why it's not centered, because I told you not to be. But if I don't do that, then y'all scooch down. Oh, no. No, you don't. What was I thinking? Maybe I changed something else. I changed the padding. That's what I did. I put the padding back. Changing more than one thing at a time. I'll get you every time. That's not awful. I think he still would like you to be a little bit... A little bit up. But I don't know that I'm really allowed to do that. What if I tried just giving you a little pad? Just that. Oh, duh. Not horizontal. Vertical. Okay, so yeah, I could do that. Just a little. I really only want that. Kind of dig that. I don't love that in this case, but then I would have to go builder it up. Which I might have to do anyway. If I really want to put it up. Or I could just decide that I'm content with it to live down there. I mean, it's not awful. Let's go with that for now. Let me close that real quick. Close that for, yeah, that's fine for now. We'll do a commit for that. Setup controls in scaffold. What do we call you? What are you? You're a bottom navigator. Bottom navigation bar. And then if I'm gonna do that, I might as well make this back to the single child and then do that. Just so we have less placeholder stuff floating around, basically. And then everything's still happy. I like that we were able to remove some widgets along the way there. That's nice. Okay. I'm okay with that for right meow. This guy, however, here. Okay, we gotta override that if we want to do that. That's fine. I think I want to be able to register callbacks here. It's going to look the same way we did these guys, where we have final on save, I guess we could call you. This on save, and also on delete. And then in here, we actually lift up the responsibility for doing our whatchamadealio here. Widget.on save. On delete. Lift that responsibility up into the parent. So on a save here, what we want to do, just bang in a little anonymous funk here. This is going to be, we have controller dot save effects. Oh, and then actually I shouldn't have moved this comment over. I should have implemented this over here, because on save, two things are gonna happen. The change is apply. Before we call widget on save, we're actually going to say that what did I name you? You were like old widget, original effect. That's going to be, and we have to copy you. So we need to do we need to use our clone. We clone effect. No. We clone widget.effect. And then we call widget on save. That way we have our rollback ability still. And it gets refreshed. Then we call save effects here. So that can come away. We don't need to delete just yet, but so if I was to do this, and we need to open this up here. Just because I know I already had it open. Okay, so let's go ahead and modify damage per tick of the first one, just for funsies. Get over there. You get a 1. We apply you. You didn't save. Cold, damage per tick. Well, that got written. You're still 0. Okay. Thought you were passed by reference. maybe I am not correct. Let me debug you. Okay, so when I come in here and I say 1, I hit apply. Apply. So you come here. That's into the pointer bits. I don't want to be in here. Put me in here. I don't get there. Oh, did I do something stupid? No, I don't need to call you. Apply. What am I doing incorrectly here? Ah. I do need to actually call you. There we go. Okay. It was the null check that was throwing me. Okay, so that comes in here. Boop. So now, okay, get out of here. Now you should say damage particulate is go away. Okay, next problem then. It changed my duration. That's fine. It can change that. 60 seconds, 1 minute, same difference. Let me roll this all back really quick. We're going to stop this. Whoops. Re-debug here. Oh, duh, you're over here. Okay, so if I set this to 1, I hit apply, we come in here. This, my effects. Should be 0. Inch per tick is 0. Okay, so it's not. Did I? I need to validate first. That's what I did wrong. I'm not actually applying the change. It's in the UI only. That's why I'm dumb. Okay, let me roll that back again over here. Let me just oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we need to okay, so we'll leave that note for ourselves. Does putting that down here though screw that up? That's a good question for future me. We're gonna go ahead and commit this, and we're gonna say hook up, or rather add callbacks for save and delete. The parent can tell us how to do that without passing in the whole controller. Okay. But it has been just over 2 hours. I'm tired, and I'm going to go make lunch and probably go to bed real soon. But I do this thing 2 hours a night, roughly, 4 nights a week, starting on Friday and ending on Monday, which is today. So I will be back again on Friday for sure. I will try to stream a couple times, unscheduled throughout the Tuesday, Wednesday, basically. Try to get on earlier, see my friends over in Europe again, but we'll see what my schedule has available. But yeah, I'd love to see you again next week. Thanks for everybody who swung by. We had great chats today, and I'd love to have some more. And if not, then you guys have a great weekend.